This is the 13th installment to the series entitled Build Your Business into an Asset of Value. The 4 questions financiers ask. What do you need money for? How will you repay the debt? Why should we believe you? And what if you fail? Very few businesses in the early stages of development will attract investor capital. Young businesses have had little time to create shareholder value. There are always exceptions, but for the purpose of this book, I presume that most readers, business owners, are in the early stages of the entrepreneurial journey. Consequently, most business owners will turn to financiers, that is lenders, for capital to fund business needs. The first step to persuade another person is to get into their moccasins, their shoes, to see things from their perspective. The purpose of this chapter is to come to grips with the perspective of financiers when it comes to providing debt finance to small businesses. Financiers have a rear view mirror bias. They drive the proverbial car, spending most of their time looking in the rear view mirror. Financiers attempt to predict the future based on information about the past, which is why it is near impossible to secure any form of debt finance without something approaching a track record of successful trading. The systems financiers use to evaluate any application for debt finance is basically negative. When I was at varsity, we used to have a few lecturers who applied negative marking to exam papers. Essentially, the examiner is looking to find faults as opposed to finding correct answers. Financiers build systems to weed out unsuitable applications. The system discards most applications long before a human being gets involved. I address preparing an application for finance later in this section of the book. Cash is king. Financiers, especially those working with small businesses, are increasingly making use of artificial intelligence to evaluate the financial performance of businesses. Often, the only documentation required is the bank statements of the applying businesses over 12 months, where a system calculates cash flows. Much can be gleaned from bank statements, including the value and regularity of cash inflows, payments received from customers or cash deposits, the value and regularity of cash outflows to suppliers and service providers, red flags, including dishonored payments, intermittent cash flow deficits, and the value and frequency of money transfers amongst the business owners and other related entities. Nothing is more important to financiers than a healthy cash flow. Capital security. Where investors seek capital appreciation, financiers seek capital security. Financiers will always attempt to protect their capital by insisting on collateral or personal surety. The most important people at the lender, the bank or financier, are the credit managers. Credit managers are in the business of managing risk. Their year-end bonus depends on the performance of the loan book for which they are responsible. Consequently, they are hardwired to look for debt applications that represent the lowest possible risk. Any right-thinking entrepreneur understands that building a business is a long-term commitment. Likewise, ethical investors commit to a long-term investment in the business. But financiers seek a short to medium-term relationship, spanning no more than the term of the loan agreement. Credit managers have neither the skills nor interest to consider the prospects of the business building shareholder value over the long term. To successfully secure capital from financiers, answer the 4 questions. What do you need money for? Be as clear and unambiguous as possible when answering this question. I need capital to buy a truck to make deliveries to my clients is a good answer. How will you repay the debt? Connect the dots. The financier wants to understand how the capital will be used to directly or indirectly generate income with which the business can pay the debt. I can make more deliveries to customers and in doing so increase revenues is a good answer. Why should we believe you? Provide substantive proof, a track record of generating consistent revenues of sufficient value to provide for the debt liability. What if you fail? Financiers want to understand how to recover their capital when things don't work out. A cash deposit or collateral in the form of an asset will alleviate their concerns. In conclusion, what makes it hard for entrepreneurs to deal with financiers is that the perspectives on risk differ so much. Entrepreneurship is about taking calculated risks. I was once told by a business owner that he sought capital from a financier who would accept skin in the game to share in the risk. Please understand, financiers don't want any skin in the game at all, ever. Credit managers are just not built that way. Thank you for watching. To access the full series, visit Constructum Online Learning on YouTube or click on the link in the post.